how would you answer the question that goes, who are you?
Who am I? Such a big mystery. Ranveer, such a big mystery. And the older I get, the bigger this question grows. Because you come from childhood thinking you're so and so, which is a very basal conditioned understanding that we have. And then you come to the middle age where there's a pompous you, which believes that you are the creation of whatever learning and whatever hard work you've done, etc., etc. The struggle of life, the seeking, earning, spending, etc. And you borrow a lot of desires. In the course of our growing up, we borrow a lot of desires, and we start believing that this is what I want. For example, traveling the world. Today, you give me a free ticket to travel the world. I will say, Ranveer, please, I don't want to go. I want to relax. So we borrow dreams and desires of other people who talk, etc. And then comes this curve, in your life where you really get into that query of who am I? And when you intensify your sadhana being one of the very important tools. And when I say sadhana, it can mean intellectual self-inquiry. It can mean jnana yoga, karma yoga, bhakti yoga. So a mixture of all these three yogas. When you really come into self-inquiry and the search through bhakti, through jnana, through your, observation and awareness of your karma, then you come on that curve where you start realizing, this what I think I am not. This what I think I am not. The recognition of you having lived many lives, the wisdom. For instance, for me, the biggest revelation of who I am not came when I, as a student, as an academic student in school and college, I was not a very brilliant student. I was very average. And then in the stages of my life, as I grew into my spiritual practices and mysticism and self-inquiry, I acquired, it's like reminded, many different arts, many different skills, many different practices, mantras. There was huge download of things. This made me very sure in certitude that I am not what I think I am. I am something more reverential and greater that my ego can fathom.
At what age did the spiritual journey begin?
For me, majorly in 1991, I had transforming experiences that brought me on the path of teaching spiritual subjects. Spiritual subjects have been with me from the age of 14 when I was in school. Because I went to Mothers International School, we were made to meditate, children were made to meditate. So,
When you say Mothers International School, this is the
a
same...
part of Sri Aurobindo Ashram.
Got it.
Yeah.
When you go to Auroville, they talk about the mother.
Yes, that's the mother, Sri Aurobindo and mother. But I was in the Delhi branch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Lots of questions, but please continue.
Yeah. So, over a period of time from 91, very intense experiences that gave me that I'm not the stupid me that I know. I'm someone that I really need to respect and love. I'm someone that is coming from many lifetimes, is much older than what I can fathom, is much older, a spirit. I came close to my spirit, and I understood that this me that I know about is just the outer cover. And this identity that I'm relating to is not my identity truly. So the false I started diminishing over the years, and the real I started growing. Yeah.
As in the part of your personality that perceived society and its material limits started fading away,
Yes.
and you started understanding the actual purpose of human life.
Yes. Yes.
But what was like the J curve moment in terms of, for me, I read the autobiography of a yogi.
Yeah.
And once I got through the book, I wanted more. So I ended up finding out where the Mumbai branch of that
Kriya
school
yoga
is.
is, yes.
And it turned out to be 200 meters from my house. So I'd grown up near it, but I didn't even know.
Yeah.
And for 4 or 5 years of my life, I deep dived into YSS related
Yes.
practices. I feel like it cleaned up my body and my mind. And once the body and the mind was cleaned up, then the show began. And I met people like yourself, Rajarshi Nandi especially, who has guided me so deeply. At this stage, I'm kind of doing a lot of mantras, a lot of naam jap, gotten into stotras. this is my J curve moment. So I felt like all the stuff I did at YSS cleaned up my body and mind to make me ready for this. I think, people say that you should always have one guru and you shouldn't go window shopping when it comes to spirituality. And I totally agree with that. But I also feel things have visited my life way too early. Like all this began when I was 22. So from 22 to 30, I was undoing the wrongs that I did to my body and my spirit before that.
Yes.
And now at around 30, 31, with all the mantras just flowing into my life like a tsunami, now I can feel too many changes happening where I'm extremely detached from society. Like I feel a very, very intense level of detachment from everything, from joy, sadness, people, relationships, everything. So something's happening and things are going by me so fast that I actually need to slow down and have conversations with people like you.
Yes.
So what's the J curve moment for you, ma'am?
Well, I started my spiritual practices with a lot of playful spirit. I was very fond of doing readings with kauris and tarot cards and astrology and all of these things. So they were my subjects that I used to teach as well as practice. I used to do consultations for people and healing, exploring healing modalities. More than 50, 60 healing modalities of the world I have explored.
But how did you get into that?
From childhood, I have always had interest in this. When I was a kid, maybe around 8 something, we used to go to the village, to my granny's village near Alibag. All small children, we used to go there to spend our summer vacations. One day that I remember, and I don't remember the whole sequence of it, but I remember that day that we went to the Thursday market or Tuesday market used to be, where a lot of other village people would come and it would be like a big bazaar, roadside bazaar. तो हम बच्चे जाते थे. We used to go there to have fun, and I remember seeing one gypsy woman sitting on the ground on the roadside. She had parked her belgadi, her cart, and she was on the roadside, and she was crowded by people. People were, around her. When I went inside, I saw that she was having a thread or a rope, and there was a slipper dangling on that, and she was dowsing.
What is that?
She was dowsing, like using a pendulum.
Okay.
And people were asking her questions and she was giving answers and people were giving her money. To me, that was a very fascinating moment, because it was incredible for me to imagine that someone can just talk like that and give questions. And I started aping her. When I went back home, I tied a small little stone to a thread and I went around asking people, you have any questions, ask me. So this thing has been inside me. There was a sleeping healer, astrologer, mystic inside, which was awakened. And I got the right things at the right time in my hands. The right book, the right things, right friends. And I never got along with people who didn't believe in spirituality. I never got along with them. I would just get up and go away. In fact, interestingly, none of my family members, my parents' members, are very ritualistic or religious or spiritual. They stay away from all this. Very hardworking, honest, beautiful people. Yet they stay away from all this. It's not a subject of interest for them. So for me, this was all my life was. Then later on, I chose to stay with people who knew all this and would speak and talk about all this. I chose my company. Thereafter, I've never had friends just hanging out here and there. I've had friends who would talk about gods and goddesses and, things like that. That's how the journey began.
When you got into all those healing techniques, I'm assuming you're talking about pranic healing, Reiki.
Yes, a lot of them, many of them.
It helped
different forms of touch healing as well as intention healing. It helped me. Obviously, it was my interest. So as you heal yourself. As you help people with issues, then you heal yourself. And you may not know specifically what healing you require. For instance, I've always been a very happy person. I've never been a sad person ever in my life. I've always been very happy, minus the childhood moments that are there. But as a grown-up, I've always chosen to be happy. I would choose to look at the light and not at the dark. So I've been a happy person. So I never identified any kind of healing that I required. But I understand at this age, there were different layers of healing that was required, and that's why you become a healer. And you talk to all kinds of people, you hear their suffering, you deal with them, you give them solutions. Sincerely, you work with your heart and intentions, and there's something that is divinizing inside of you. And then you don't want to be a healer anymore. You come to a stage where you don't want to be a healer anymore because you've already fallen into the lap of God by then.
Can you elaborate that thought?
Yeah, it's like you are amazed that sometimes I might not have so so sincerely or so beautifully healed someone, but the other person has got healed. Let's say, for example, I know I've not worked so hard. I know I've not given her so much of healing, but I see a major transformation in her, and she's so full of gratitude to me. And then I have this question in my heart: I didn't do anything. Who did this? And then you see the unseen power working through you because you have a golden heart and you really wish something good for someone, and something is really channeled through you, which is miraculous and beautiful. You know what an empty vessel you are. You know the abilities are not yours. You know that the words that are flowing through our mouth are not yours. You know that you've been an instrument to something very divine, and then you start understanding God. And when you fall into the lap of God, I think that's one of the most comfortable things to happen to any human being. It's like you're looked after, you are hugged, and you're completely surrounded by God, mesmerized by God. So on this journey, my ideals are, maybe you can understand me better if I share this with you. I love Tukaram Maharaj. He was always so mesmerized with Vithala. I love Mirabai. I love Raman Maharshi. Not caring anything about who is coming to shoot me or who's coming to interview me. He's just sitting in his langot up there on the mountain. To me, these are my idols. And I try to follow that kind of life.
Did you know all this in your 20s?
I knew, but I couldn't say. I think I knew because it is so close to my heart of feeling. I've had very, very beautiful experiences with nature. With nature, like I'm sitting on a swing and singing. I'm not a very good singer, but I love to sing, So I'm singing something and then I'm saying, ki, yaar, koi to suno mera gana. And I see a dahlia turn the face like that. I see a flower turn the face like that. I've seen small little miracles in my life. They are like very touching and very beautiful.
That confirmed Guru Tattva around you.
Yes, it confirms Guru Tattva.
Okay. So nice being in your presence.
Yes.
At the start of this podcast, I was almost about to cry. I don't know why. It's all your years of healing.
Yeah.
I think it flows through one, right? Like if you've been at practice for so long, then it starts flowing through you in your presence.
Yes.
Continue the story, ma'am. So you transitioned from
healing. We were talking about healing, right? From healing into coming back to my roots. So Western therapies, a lot of Western therapies, shamanic therapies, Oriental Eastern therapies, Japanese and Chinese, and all of these having explored, I also explored a lot of tantric methods, of healing. We have a lot of, Atharva Veda is full of occult and mysticism.
Like what?
I'll come to it. So having explored all that, and it's all for helping people and doing things, like you make a taviz or you make a vibrational medicine, or you pack up something, you write something and pack up something and you make it like an amulet for people to wear. I did all this in my healing journey. And then in the early 90s, like I said, my attention came into the Vedantic roots, our roots. And I found this exploration going all over the world to all the different cultures. All of these have had roots here in the Vedantic, literature and tradition. So I got into learning and reading. I did a lot of reading. From 91 to 95, I was deeply engrossed in studying different Vedic methods and all of this. And then I came into reading the spiritual text. And I started simultaneously teaching. I'm a very good teacher. I'm a born teacher. God has been very kind that I can uncomplicate things and give to my student in 5 minutes what they would take about 5 years to understand. Very, very simple, and that's a gift of God. It's not something I have done. So I got into teaching, and over 10 years, I in the from 95 to say 2005, lesser and lesser of the healing and more of the Vedic scriptures that I, and when I came to Rishikesh, in 2008, late of 2007 and 8. I have been only with the scriptural teaching.
Hey, if you enjoyed today's clip, make sure you check out all the other clips we've uploaded on this channel. You'll find a clip related to almost every single topic as long as you're willing to search for it.